Hello, hello, hello. It's Sonia, and it's time for our orientation for the Community Energy Healings. I'll welcome everyone. This is Sonia Miller, and this is the first ever orientation for the Community Energy Healings that we're going to be doing here every week, except for some holiday seasons on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And I'm just thrilled to be bringing this to everyone. So we're going to just jump in with the energy healing. This will be recorded, and I would love to be hearing from all of you. Say hello in the chat. And I've got a question that I'm going to prompt everyone with so that we can really connect with what we're all here for. If I can get my screen to agree with me. There we go. So welcome, welcome. All right, so this entire series is entitled Unlock Your Brightest Future, no matter what is happening in the world. And hopefully between my posts and my emails, you understand why I'm doing this, but truly, given everything that's happening in the world, I felt guided. I was always asking the question, what is mine to do? How can I be a contribution? How can I be a force for good in the midst of all that's happening? And so I was guided to offer energy healings, which is something I've been doing for 24 years professionally and have had experience and exposure to it for 9 years prior as a client with a variety of energy healers. So I'm thrilled to bring this to the general public. And I'm honored to have everyone who participates be a part of this with me. So I would love to hear what you are ready to receive. So this is what I'd love to see you put in the chat. Okay, 3 words. When I think about unlocking my brightest future, just trust wherever your awareness goes with that, whether it's in work, relationships, your relationship with yourself, your feelings, your health, whatever that is. I'm ready to feel and experience, and put in 3 words in the chat that arise for you. I'd love to see what pops up. Okay. Let's see these comments. Oops, let's turn the volume down on that. All right, so I may not be able to be very smooth with my chats quite yet, but if I don't get to respond to you right away, I will definitely be coming back after the recording. Here we go. I can see you now. All right. Abundance, love, community. Oh, this is so great to connect with you. Happiness, no matter what's going on, fulfillment and passion. What else? 3 words. Okay, I'll keep checking in. All right, great. So put them in the chat. I'll see them when I see them. And thank you for being here. So let's get on with this orientation. So as we embark on community energy healings, this is what we're going to cover today. First of all, I'd like to offer you some helpful hints to get the most and kind of capture anything that you think you might miss so you don't feel like you have to take notes. Feel free to take screenshots of any slide that you see here. And know again that this is going to live here in Facebook. And also post questions in the chat. Heather, my wonderful everything, customer service person, operations manager, great source of support, will be watching the chat. So if I don't catch some questions in the chat, Heather's going to have an eye out. Okay. And between the screenshots and Heather, we'll be putting links that will be helpful to everyone. Let's see, what else have we got here? Comments. Joy, love, abundance, prosperity, ease, and love, peace, joy, and forgiveness. These are wonderful. Well, I know that all of that is possible through energy healing, so I'm excited to share. So helpful hints, that's our first thing. I'm going to be talking about what energy healing is and is not. I'm going to be going over the framework that I use for energy healings when it's for a group or a collective. I'll be talking about how it works and what to expect. I'm also going to talk about what the bigger picture is in terms of how does energy healing fit into the bigger picture of how I support people, which is specifically around empowerment. I like to say in business and beyond, but it's really beyond. It's whatever area of life is where you feel perhaps disempowered, and energy healing is universal and far-reaching. I'm also going to talk about your next steps after today, and we'll have some Q&A using the chat. So let's jump right in. What energy healing is and is not. So some of you have had energy healings with me, some of you have not, some of you experience energy healing in, there's many different modalities of energy healing. I personally have studied, I've lost count, but at least 6. And mine has, I have found mine to be actually quite unique because I have blended many different modalities, and it's psycho-spiritual, it is metaphysical, there's a psychological component, there are definitely physiological benefits. So it's a real blend and a hybrid of a variety of things that I've studied, trainings, research, development, all kind of synthesized into a unique modality that I use and have been using for, as I said, 24 years. So with that, what I'd like to offer is that when it comes to energy healing, when we hear the word healing, many times we think of, our minds are going to go to, there's something broken that needs to be fixed or that can be fixed. There's something wounded that needs to be stitched back together, brought back to life. Our minds have different ideas about what healing is, and I really want to clarify the way I hold it, okay? I hold it as, first of all, I'm not doing anything to you. I'm not healing you, okay? I'm holding a space, and I do have skills, I call it a blend of talent and skill, that allows you to reveal more of the truth of who you are, okay? So the presupposition with all of this work is that you already are all that you seek to be, do, and have. Like a seed, there's nothing broken, you're whole and complete, it's all there. But just because you are this doesn't mean you feel this. And so while it may feel like I'm doing something to you, what I'm actually doing is I'm actually creating a space and guiding you in a process that allows you to access your own inner wholeness, your own inner resources, because your true power, your wholeness lies in consciousness, okay? And so most of us try to feel more powerful by conquering or controlling the outer world. And that's not where your power lies. Your power lies within. So this is a journey of accessing the wholeness that you already are. This is an optimized environment. I guide and facilitate that, but nothing is being done to you, okay? So the word healing, in a more accurate way, the way I describe it is that there's nothing actually to be healed, only more of you to be revealed. And so energy healings are much more of a shedding process. We're shedding all that you're not, okay, and nurturing and fortifying all that you are, and making space for that to flow freely from the inside out. All right, so that's what energy healing is. So with every energy healing, here's the deeper framework. And I realize this slide might be small depending on what kind of a screen you're looking at. But again, you can take screenshots and you'll have access to this to review later in a recording. So the theme through everything that we do is, again, you already are all that you seek to be, do, and have. So for every single energy healing, there's always going to be one intention. And when we're doing the energy healings, you might want to repeat after me, because I'm going to state it every time, or just let the words wash over you. But this will be the intention for every single energy healing. My intention is to 100% embody fully the divine truth of who I really am, and to relate to all that is presenting, meaning the current situation at the time of the energy healing to all that is presenting in the love, peace, and light of truth, now and forevermore, better than I ever imagined. Okay, so that's the intention. Now, what will change from week to week with each energy healing is what is presenting within you, what is presenting in the cosmos and the universe. And so every time we come to an energy healing, there is something that is coming through. It's kind of like the energetic weather. So if you like astrology, if you like tarot readings, if you like the I Ching is an ancient Chinese oracle. Let me fix that. 8,000 years old. And you toss some coins or some pennies or some sticks. And when you know how to read the I Ching, the tosses, there's, I think it's 64 hexagrams that have been identified, which are the energetics of life. You can see it play out in life, and you see this across many different schools of thought. And you get information about you and life and what's happening, and it answers questions. So it's an oracle. Now, when I studied this, I was like, how does this work? And the ancient Chinese teachings offer as above, so below. Okay. Everything is one. All of energy is one. And so when you come to an energy healing, you're going to be participating among a whole bunch of people that you don't know. You're going to be there. You're going to have your intentions. They're going to have their intentions. There's going to be energetic weather happening in the cosmos, right? But in that particular time and space, there is a unifying principle, a unifying concept, a unifying theme that benefits whoever is participating, whether you're here live or whether you listen to the recording. Okay, so this is going to explain a little bit more why the recordings are just as effective, which I'll get into in a little bit, and why each energy healing will be unique, will be personal, will be relevant, but it also will be universal. Okay, and it transcends time and space. So the intention is always the same. Again, the presenting energy, right, as is relevant to you. I hope that explains it, and I'll be taking questions later on. Then the intended results for every energy healing is always the same as well, that you feel and experience less resistance and struggle, that you feel and experience more ease, well-being, and alignment with your joyful fulfillment, that you gain insights, awarenesses, solutions, and next steps that support you in life, and that you receive joyful physical world manifestations in expected and unexpected ways. And if you are new to me in energy healing, I'll be providing some links at the end where you can learn more about the kinds of results that people have been experiencing in my more than 2 decades of doing this. Everything from profound, dramatic, and quick to subtle, sort of a slow burn, revealing, like a little blossoming, right? And everything in between. The thing that has kept me going with energy healing is that it is oftentimes, what most people experience quite subtle. Some people do have some dramatic experiences in the moment, sometimes afterwards, but it can be quite subtle, yet very, very profound and deep, because basically you are altering things at the level of being. Okay, so let's say a good example is, let's say you have a headache and it's got your attention and it's really, really bad. And then it's gone. When it's gone, you don't think, oh, my headache's gone. You just don't even notice it. So for that reason, I'm also going to be giving you ways to track your progress, because the shifts are so deep and far reaching that it just becomes your new normal. And a lot of times, unless I help people identify, between one session and the next, well, yeah, this thing happened, the mind will tell you it's a coincidence, or won't even notice it until you have a reason to actually think, wow, I used to react to this in this way. Nothing's changed, but I'm responding and reacting differently. So it's very deep. And the results that people can experience are really quite something. Okay. So let's talk a little bit more now about how it works and what to expect. The format is that we will have every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. I'll be doing these right here in the group, the Receive community, and I'm going to be going 30 to 60 minutes. I'm going to be jumping right in. Okay, so this orientation will be available for, linked to every recording for anybody who's new, so that we don't have to re-explain this each time. Okay. Once I've done a few, I'm going to get a sense of how long these usually go, but usually it'll be in the 30 to 60 minutes, and then we'll figure out where we land on. Additionally, after every energy healing, I'm going to stay for up to 30 minutes here in the Receive community live to receive any questions after the energy healing. Also, as we move into the actual energy healing, every single one will have a beginning, a middle, and an end. So the beginning will be relaxing into sacred space, where I will be guiding you in a relaxation process so that you're at your most receptive and open. The middle will be where I'm acting as a detective, and I'm going to be reading the energy that is presenting. Before I get into detective mode, I will be guiding you in the intention. Okay, you'll be tracking beforehand where you are right at this moment regarding what's present for you today. So I'll be guiding you every step of the way. I'll act as a detective. I'll be reading the energy. And if you've never done an energy healing, you're just going to follow my lead, and it's going to be like, what is this, right? But if you've done it before, you'll see, and you know that this is a predictable format, okay? I act as a detective. I read the energy. I'll be saying things. I'll be saying, repeat after me. I'll be asking questions of the higher guidance. I'll be gathering information, and I'll talk a little bit more about the deeper part of what to expect. And at some point, everything that's here to be addressed, to be healed, will be done. It's like a constellation of energy, of information. And then we'll move into what are called energetic interventions. And it can include some tapping, it can include breath work, and include visualization. It can include some of these other cosmic woo-woo things that I do. But there'll be all things to help you shift and correct the energy so that you can shed what is not you, and you can fortify that which is for a greater, fuller self-expression. Then at the end, I'm going to do a recheck on all the energy. And I use both my intuitive abilities, and I also do something called surrogate muscle testing, muscle checking. So you might see me do this a lot. I don't do this. Some people do this. But if you were to, if you're curious in research applied kinesiology, there's a whole body of work about how the body responds with strong and weak muscle responses to different questions. And so I do that tuned into your energy as a surrogate. Okay, so I recheck, make sure everyone's in good shape, check in with people, and then we bring it to a close. Then we'll do a post assessment, and you'll see how you're feeling before and after. And then I'll tell you more about what to look for and what to track for, what this particular energy healing was about, kind of a summary, and then stay for Q&A, and that's the general format. All right, so let's talk about how you're going to track your progress. So you can come with specific intentions, like this is what's up for me, and this is what I want to work on today, and you'll write that in your journal. Okay, what I have found is what's more powerful than intentions, because that's what the mind tells you you want, okay, is to actually point you to your greatest opportunities at this time. So when we begin and you do some journaling and some awareness, you're going to be aware of what you want and what you don't want, okay, because the wants can be generated either from a don't want, like I'm feeling angst and struggle and challenge around things and this thing. And so what's driving the want is I don't want that, and I really want that. So there's some kind of resistance that's pushing against you. Sometimes the wants are, there's something that you're really inspired about, something that you're excited about. And so that's what's up for you. Okay. Other times you'll come in and you'll be just really directly aware of, I'm struggling, this is really hard, I don't like this, I don't want. And so that's going to be the thing that has your attention. And so if you look at the last bullet, I talk about attention grabbers. So one of the ways we're going to be tracking is becoming aware of what is in your awareness. What are the thoughts, the images, the words that are circling around in your mind? Because since all of your power lies in consciousness, your mental activity is a big part of your consciousness. And so from pre-assessment to post-assessment, we're going to notice what's in your awareness, because that is what you're giving your attention to. Where your attention goes, the energy flows. And as things soften around that through the energy healing, it makes space for something else to be in your awareness and your attention. And then that's what gets your energy, and that's what creates your reality. Okay. So we'll become aware of your don't wants and your do wants. You're going to have a journal. So I'm going to strongly encourage you to bring a journal. Maybe you'll just want it for this. You can have a device. During the actual energy healings, I'm going to encourage people to not take notes, to not be using their devices. This is truly a relaxation process. It's very, very powerful when you allow yourself to actually receive this at the level of being. And it's actually, for the most part, very relaxing. Now, sometimes emotions will arise. Sometimes a little bit of discomfort can arise. After all of these years of doing this, I find that it's generally a very relaxing experience. And I will give you some tips and tools about what to do and how to address any discomfort that could arise, which will pass quickly. I will guide you specifically in the pre-assessment, post-assessment, and what I call integration observations. So the way you're going to track is during the energy healing, we're going to do a pre-assessment. After the energy healing, we're going to do a post-assessment. How are you feeling? What was up for you? What was in your awareness when we started? After the energy healing, just to notice. Most times people feel better. Sometimes people don't notice any difference, and rarely people feel worse. Very, very, very rarely. But that's why I'm staying for Q&A, because I want that feedback loop so we can make sure that you get what you need around that. Okay. And sometimes it's just a little bit of soothing as you integrate. Now, in the week between an energy healing and the next energy healing, you're going to want to start paying attention to how things are integrating. All right. And I'm going to be able to give you some guidance after each energy healing about what to watch for. But basically, you will know what was up for you when you started, when the do wants and don't wants were revealed. And then you're going to be looking for, how is that for you in the week ahead? What are you noticing? You're going to be your own detective about, am I still reacting in the same way to those situations? Do I feel differently? What am I manifesting? What's showing up in my life? So you're just going to want to be curious and be observing. If I don't instruct you to do this, some wonderful things could happen and you won't even notice it because you won't think to look for it. Okay, so integration observations are a great thing to track for. Pre-assessment and post-assessment, where there's going to be three things that we're going to be checking in on each time. You're going to, around your do wants and don't wants, you're going to rate the level of challenge or struggle on a scale of 0 to 10. It's always about the struggle that we rate, because as you feel better, as the resistance or the struggle softens, there's space for the true you to be revealed. Okay, for you to receive the next thing that your being is trying to offer, but cannot come through because it's being pushed down by resistance. So usually what we want to see happen in an energy healing is that, let's say you come in at, you're really struggling around a health issue or a relationship issue or a money issue, and you've got do wants and don't wants. So you're at a level 7 of struggle or challenge or resistance. Ideally, after the energy healing, it will be a little or a lot lower. Okay, so that's what we're tracking for. We're also going to track for body sensations, because sometimes people don't like those numbers or they can't identify with it. Everyone's a little bit different. And a lot of times all three of these things show up. So you're going to rate on a scale of 0 to 10 your struggle. You're also going to check in with your body. Where am I feeling this? How am I feeling this? Where's the sensation? What's the intensity there? And you'll just jot that down. And then you're also going to make note of the attention grabbers. What's grabbing your attention? Again, images, words. You might be worrying, you might be ruminating, you might be hyperfixated on something. Whatever's in your conscious awareness, you're going to write that down. And then we'll check afterwards. Okay, so those are the three things we check for. All right, so how to participate. This is true for whether you're participating live or later on in the recordings, okay? Ideally, you are going to create a space for yourself where you minimize distractions so you really can relax and let this be a time and a space for you, all right? I'm going to invite you to claim a space that supports relaxation. So if you are doing it during the day live, and you can, and I know life happens, right? And that's okay. But if you can carve out, especially at the beginning, at least the full hour, and if you can, even longer for Q&A, I think that's ideal for these situations. And I know that not everybody can, and that's why it's so great that recordings work. So for recording, be thinking about when in my day, morning, day, evening, am I going to create space to just press play and experience this as if I'm going through it real time, okay, and bringing your journal. So that's really important to, and here's the thing, I do surrogate energy healings all the time for people, and they're just living their lives, you know, but it's very nourishing. You know, people really feel relaxed, and that state of relaxation allows you to return to your life open and receptive. So it allows you to practice the power of awareness, and awareness is the key to everything. All right. So while you can just, you know, participate and be multitasking and busy, I really encourage you to claim a space that supports relaxation, because then you're going to be using empowerment tools that will serve you in other ways in a conscious level. All right. Now, why are the recordings equally as effective as the lives? Because energy, which is all one, is timeless. It's always right here, right now. And it's not based on, it's not linear, okay? It's not logical, it's alignment based. So I have done classes where I've done energy healings. This was the first time I experimented with this quite a few years ago. It was a Have the Body You Love program. And I did a whole bunch of group energy healings around body issues and healing around that. And then I recorded them, and I did it with the intention of these being timeless and relevant for whenever a person was ready and aligned with that particular energy healing. And I had people do the class 3 years later, do the recorded energy healings, and I would get all these reports back. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how perfect that was, how relevant that was. So it's basically like you and the energy healing are drawn together like magnets, okay? And so when the time is right, when the alignment is right, when the topic is relevant to you, whether you're conscious of it or not, because a lot of this touches on the unconscious, you will be drawn to it, okay? So just press play. It's equally as effective. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about the experience, what the actual experience is like. So as I'm doing these energy healings, here, I'll show you what I'm going to be using. I have this well-worn book. See, I've been doing this a lot. And in this book is a compilation. I used to use one that's twice the size, and I just distilled it to what I actually realized I actually needed. But this is what I'm using. And there's another book here that's from a modality. This is also well-worn, lost the cover. This is Chinese Energetic Medicine with Dr. Cam Yuen. And so what happens is you won't see me doing it, but I thought I'd show. I'm flipping through the book, I'm muscle testing, right? And I'll be asking questions of the collective and the higher guidance, right? And I'm going to be taking notes, and information will start to come in. Sometimes I'll have you repeat after me. I'll always say, repeat after me if you like, or just let these words wash over you. So you'll hear things coming through. I'll be counting numbers until you have the experience. It's kind of like, what is she doing? Okay, but you'll get a vibe for it, right? And sometimes an actual story will unfold. And we'll talk about physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, psychic, and psychological issues. All right. A story may unfold. I will be looking to see if, in order to correct the energy, we need to get to what are called the origins, where it goes deeper. And I like to say that sometimes something that needs to be healed can be simply cleared through an intervention. And other times we have to go deeper into, where does that come from? What is the origin of that energy? And I like to say that it's kind of like a skin rash, right? Sometimes you get a skin rash and all you need to do is go to the sink and wash it off. There's an irritant. That's just a straight clearing of the energy. Sometimes a skin rash is systemic. You ate something and we need to go deeper to the root cause of it, all right? So you'll hear me use terms like that. And if you stick around for Q&A, I can always answer questions about the actual energy healing or what it is I'm doing. I'm happy to do that, all right? But the main idea is there will be things that will make sense to you that you'll understand, and then there'll be other things that you'll have no idea what I'm talking about, all right? There will also be things that will really resonate for you. You'll be like, oh my gosh, it's like she's psychic. I get that all the time. She's psychic. How could she know that, right? And other things that you'll hear me say, and you'll think, oh my gosh, this does not make, this is not for me. This isn't relevant to me. And so what I want to say is, it's always relevant, because sometimes we're dealing with the conscious mind, sometimes we're dealing with the unconscious mind, many times, which is why this is so powerful, because it goes deeper and beyond the mind. All right. So just know that your mind may or may not understand what I'm talking about, may or may not believe it's relevant. It doesn't matter. Okay. On to bullet point number 2. Your mind doesn't need to understand or believe anything I say for it to work. All right. Now, something I want to address is sometimes the mind can have resistance, especially if this is a new experience for you, because you're like wondering, is this safe for me? Is this okay? Just know that in terms of safety, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about this a little later too, what's most important is your mind may be busy kind of like, protecting you from some things, right? If you've never done this before, trust your body sensations, all right? If you feel relaxed, your body is responding because it feels safe, all right? If you feel a little bit of angst, all right, and you're not sure what to make of it, know that everything that I frame around this is always for your highest good in ways beyond what you could even imagine. All right. So while the stories and the phrases I use, for example, I talk about past life origins. Okay. Some people believe in past lives, some people don't. Right. I'll talk about sometimes something called a religious wound will come up, right? And that can be a sensitive subject for people. So you really want to trust yourself. If something doesn't feel right, I absolutely 100% encourage you and support you to just step away, turn it off, reach out to me. I'm happy to talk to you about it. Okay. And in all of my years of doing this, and people come from all walks of life, all philosophical, spiritual, religious orientations, some people have expressed concerns. As they talk to me and as they experience this, their fears are softened, and they proceed and good things happen. That being said, I'm going to talk a little bit about being self-responsible and taking care of yourself. But above all else, trust how you feel, take care of yourself. If it doesn't feel right for you, just turn it off, right? And definitely reach out to me, because I'm here to answer questions. All right. Now, why the story that unfolds doesn't have to make sense. So sometimes a story unfolds about like, well, this thing happened and this is the origin, and this will make sense when you actually experience it. And the reason the story doesn't have to feel relevant or make sense is that while it's a story, it isn't necessarily literal. Now, if there's a current life origin, it might be literal, all right? It might be like, oh my gosh, that actually happened to me. And so the mind will be congruent with that. But if it's a different type of a story and it doesn't make sense to you, just know that stories can be, because it doesn't have to be literal, it can be a metaphor, and it can be energetic and energetically resonant for your unconscious mind. So it gives the mind a way to identify a struggle or something that needs to be healed, even if you can't access it. So the story serves you. And if it feels like, wow, this doesn't make sense, but it feels right, like I can't even believe how right that feels because none of that ever happened to me, it's because you're accessing through the story something that gives an outlet for something to be revealed and to move through and be released that you couldn't access any other way other than through story. Okay. So more on the experience. Stories help the mind interface with the deeper energetics of thoughts and feelings held in the body. And the other thing that happens that lends itself to stories that may or may not feel relevant is because we're dealing with a group, usually one or more people in the group will emerge, just kind of, it's not something you'll know who it is unless it's you, as the surrogate, a surrogate or multiple surrogates for the group. So what happens is I could be doing an energy healing for 100 people, and a story will emerge that we'll be doing a healing process through. And then I might get some emails or some texts that say, oh my gosh, because I've done many group energy healings. Oh my gosh, Sonia, I know I was the surrogate. That totally made sense to me, right? And then I'll have people say, that didn't make sense to me, but I totally felt it, right? So usually one or more people will come and a story will emerge through that particular person, but the energetics are what reaches everybody in the group. It's the unified collective field that is being addressed at that time, all right? The other thing is that after every energy healing, it is complete. So when you go back to your life, there could be, let me do a time check here. There could be, you might feel better, right? After the energy healing, you might feel neutral. You go back into your life and you perceive things integrating however they do. Now, sometimes what happens is you'll feel better and you go back into your life and symptoms come back, or you don't feel so good anymore, or it's the feel good kind of passed. All right. So every energy healing is complete. However, energy healing is like peeling away the layers of the onion or the shedding. Remember, I talked about shedding. And so what happens is if you feel good and then not so good afterwards, it's not because it didn't work and it's not because it came back. It's because it worked at that first layer. And now because it's been cleared, the next layer can rise up to be accessed. Okay. So just keep coming back. Just keep coming back because each time you do the energy is you're helping shed those layers so that you can reveal more of the truth of who you are. Okay, so let's talk about self-responsibility. I'm going to include a link here and then at the end as well. Please take care of yourself. All right. Read the disclaimer so you understand what you're participating in. This is just a little quick summary, but there's a full disclaimer. And the main thing to know about energy healings is this is not a substitute for the consultation, diagnosis, or treatment by a qualified physician, healthcare provider, mental health professional, attorney, or financial advisor. So by participating in these, you take full responsibility for your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and legal well-being. All right, go read the disclaimer. But also rest assured that I have been doing this a very long time. I've received extensive training. I've worked with literally thousands. I've done thousands of energy healings, literally. Okay. And it's always been good. It's always been good. Like I said, for some dramatic, that's why I have clients who they don't even do coaching with me. They kind of get it back door, but all they do is energy healings because they love the expansion process of it. Okay. Because we're eternal and always expanding into the next version and expression of ourselves. Some people just love that. They keep coming back for that. Some people like to do spot spot healings, right? Spot checks, or when they're hitting something, right? But as I said, in all of my years, it's always been supportive. It's always been nurturing. It's always been soothing. Some people love them more than other people, but it's been a very positive thing. So rest assured with that, and take responsibility and take care of yourself. Read the disclaimer so that you really are entering into this with full awareness. Okay. So let me talk a little bit more about the bigger picture and how this fits into what I do in general around empowerment. All right, so I've come up with this empowerment model, and this is, I finally synthesized something that I've been doing for, we're coming up on 3 decades, okay? And what I do is I help people to embody their power unconditionally, which means you are connected to the source of your power under all conditions, no matter what's happening in the world. That's what this is about, unlocking your brightest future. So we can do energy healings around a whole bunch of things, but for this particular series, I wanted one theme that I thought would be most supportive for everyone because of what's unfolding in the world today, where people are feeling so disempowered around the enormity of the challenges that are all around us. And my message is, your power is independent of the circumstances and the people in your life. Now, just because this is true doesn't mean you actually feel this power or know how to access it. So the bigger empowerment model that I've come up with is called Receive Your Power. It's a framework, and there's 3 different places that I support you. One is accessing your power, which lies within. And for each one of these areas, I've listed the types of resources and support I offer. So in accessing your power, I have a program called the Receive Now program, which teaches you how to receive the kindness life is always offering under all conditions. And it's really about shifting from a hard work, achieving, grinding orientation, the human doer, into knowing that life always offers kindness. And the skill of receiving is just that. It's an actual skill that most of us don't even know how to do. We don't know how to receive, right? When we know how to actually receive, we open up to the abundance of life. So accessing your power is learning about how to receive unconditionally. Private coaching and energy healing are also ways to support you with that, releasing that which blocks you from receiving the abundance that's always here within and all around you. The second aspect of empowerment is around accelerating your achieving, which is just that. It's about having this empowered experience unfold and be revealed in your life faster, right? So I have Focus and Flourish groups, which are tiny pods of for 3 months. Private coaching, energy healing is a big accelerator. And finally, amplifying your impact for those who feel like they want to make a contribution in the world, really step into their leadership, you know, be the change that the world needs, right? I have a program called Thrive Generously. It's a specific curriculum to live and lead from your natural abundance. Again, private coaching and energy healing also supports that. So just so you know, those are all ways that you can embody your power unconditionally, okay, in all areas of your life. So with that, we're going to start wrapping up. Next steps, watch for my emails if you are on the email list. If you're not on the email list, go to unlockyourbrightestfuture.com. Just scroll down, you'll see the different ways to participate, and you can get the recordings and the updates and the reminders. And Heather, if you're here, I hope, please put that in the chat. I'm going to give you some links here on the slide. You can take a picture, but Unlock Your Brightest Future is like the headquarters for this, all right? Read the disclaimer. I'm going to give you a link for that. Get a journal if you want to just really make the most of this, and start thinking about how and where and when you're going to claim space to receive the experience of these energy healings. So also, again, this is the link for everything. Please share this with anyone that you think might be interested. Unlock Your Brightest Future is the link to pass around. Anyone who goes there, it'll be really clear how to participate. And there's three ways to participate in this. So I wanted to make it so that you could choose what works for you. All right. So now we're going to move into Q&A and combining that with questions, answers, and links. So some of you are probably already wondering, how do I do private energy healing? And a lot of times when people do the group ones, then they think, how do I do private energy healing? So I do private energy healing. That's been something I've been doing forever. Go to my website, surpassyourlimits.com. There's a menu bar like most websites have. And at the top, you'll see a link that says work with me. If you go there, the drop-down menu says energy healings. Click on that. And I'm running a special to support, this kickoff, where you can actually have 33% savings if you decide you want to try energy healing for the first time or be a returning client and do it again at a great value. And you can also have purchase multi-session packages of 3 and 5 hours for yourself. You can share these if you have to have had your own energy healing yourself first. For the gift certificate, for those, you have to actually contact us, because we'll give you a special link for that. But for everything else, the coupon works. All right. So that's private energy healings. That same menu bar, just look for disclaimer. You'll see disclaimer. Click on that. You can read that. And then for the community energy healings, unlockyourbrightestfuture.com. If you want to be on the email list for the recordings, the reminders, and the updates, that sign up list will be at that same URL. Okay, so those are the links. So with that, thanks for being here. I look forward to connecting, and we start next Tuesday, 11 o'clock, and watch for the updates in Facebook and email. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.